About 3 weeks ago, I went to a restaurant and I noticed that every single person was on their phones. Maybe like 3 people were chatting, but everyone else was just... This is not what a restaurant's supposed to look like. And I realized that I'm that girl. I am constantly reaching for my phone like it's my third limb. And so I began this new journey of trying to stay off my screen. Hi, I'm Francesca, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll explore the topic of trying to be a little bit more offline as a member of Gen Z. And we are never offline. So that's why it's unique. And I hope you enjoy, and let's get into the video. I feel like there's a rising trend among society where we want to stop being so addicted to our phones. From September 28 to October 25, on my phone, my average screen time was 5 hours and 17 minutes. And that is actually so much time if you think about it. Like, what am I doing on my phone for that long? But last week, my average 3 hours and 25 minutes, which is actually still kind of atrocious. It's gotten to the point where if my friend will go to the bathroom, I'll do a quick Instagram scroll. Like, why don't we try blinking, okay? And watching your surroundings. Instead of instantly like, that's so boring. Instead of being boring, let's be bored. I'm 22. A lot of Gen Z people are realizing that their screen addictions are kind of eating away at their lives. And I think the thought that made me want to really stop investing as much time in my screen as I would is, why would I want to spend more time in a world that's not even real? Why would I want to spend more time in other people's lives than my own? So in this video, I'm going to share kind of my experience with technology and how I want to change it up. Every time I doom scroll, which can last for hours, once I snap out of it and wake up, I actually feel like the scum of the earth. Like, I feel like I have actually lost so much of my day to something that is not important, something that's not helping me, especially if I actually have things to do and I procrastinate by scrolling on my phone. Like, that's so stupid. I think I had the perfect amount of technology exposure as a kid. There was the home computer I'd only go to for like 2 hours on Sunday, and that was literally my only screen time of the week. And the rest of the week I would be coloring, reading, writing, playing with my toys. And then I started going to first grade, 30 minutes of computer time, and then the rest of the time we'd be like writing. And I think that was the perfect technology exposure as a kid. Even when I had an iPad, my screen time was kind of restricted. I think that helped me actually develop my learning, and I fear for the kids of this generation. Every time I walk into a restaurant and I see this 5-year-old staring at their iPad instead of engaging in conversation with their family, I'm like, what are you doing? Please, no. This is the new generation. If I basically have a phone addiction, what more of these children? Anyway, people in front of our faces, like, let's chat, you know, let's spend time together and make memories and become closer that way. We don't always have to be checking our phones. I'm on Do Not Disturb constantly, but it doesn't matter because I pick up my phone and I swipe down to check my notifications, and I would do this every like 5 minutes. And I realized this is not the way to live. My notifications can wait. If I'm not making plans with someone and need to let them know of my location or something, it can wait. And I've been really trying to make a concerted effort of not checking notifications as much as I used to. I do pride myself on being a fast replier because I think that's considerate, but also I think we have to strike a balance between being mindful of getting back to people and also not checking your phone like it's a third limb. So then I got my first phone. I was 12. I had Crossy Road on it. It was a big deal. But I didn't even have Instagram until I was 16 maybe. I think that helped too because I wasn't constantly comparing myself to other people. When I was super developing, I guess 16 you're still developing. But I think that was the perfect time for me to get Instagram. A lot of people flame social media because they say that it's bad for adolescents to keep comparing their lives to what they see. But I think because I was introduced to it a bit later, it wasn't such a big deal for me. I was comparing myself to people anyway in real life. It didn't really change anything now that I had it on my phone. I never thought of my screen time as a big deal because everyone around me would be on their screens all the time, but I think it was just because this rising recognition. I think the big changing point was I have a very close friend. She has decided to go to a flip phone. I always viewed her as like low-key crazy because what do you mean you're using T9 texting when we have this? So she fully downgraded to a flip phone, and she said it's made her life so much better because she's able to live more in the present, she's able to enjoy things and be more peaceful. And I realized that actually, yeah, my phone stresses me out because when I'm constantly online, I'm not even focusing on my senses and what's around me, and I'm just concerned with all the digital stuff. And there's so much trash online too. What's everyone's obsession with rage bait? And why is consumerism so rampant online? Everyone's doing hauls, everyone's buying the next Labubu, and although I do have a Labubu, we don't need to be inundated with this day by day. I miss being 6 years old with my 2 hours of Sunday screen time and my 10 hours of just reading a chapter book or something. And I think that was a beautiful way to spend time in the real world and have some separation between what matters and what doesn't. I think it's so unattractive to just be glued to your phone and texting someone else or scrolling through my feed. We are literally separating ourselves from each other every time we scroll through Instagram while waiting for something instead of talking to each other. And I'm not saying that I never scroll. Sometimes, even when I'm with my friends, I love having like separate rot times. Like after maybe 2 hours of strict conversation, we take like a little 10-minute recharging, let's look at Instagram. As long as most of the time we're still talking to each other, I think that's what's important. For a good 2 days, I was so obsessed with the idea of getting a flip phone. But then I realized I actually would be nothing without Google Maps. And also I love Strava to record my runs. Yeah, I'm one of those. So actually I couldn't live off a flip phone. And also I love music. I don't think there's a crime in listening to music when I'm on the bus. Okay? QR codes. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't want to switch to a flip phone completely. I'm not that brave yet. I'm just a girl, okay? And I wanted to make this video because I wanted to share the perspective of someone who isn't perfectly offline, but is still trying to be offline because I think that's relatable. And I'm saying this as someone who does love social media, or at least loves creating on it. So I'm also like striking this balance between how do I maintain this hobby that I really love while also regulating my screen time for my mental health. I think it's so cool when people regulate their screen time, consumption time to be like the morning paper, where they'll give themselves a dedicated 30 minutes to an hour to lock in and watch stuff on purpose, and then when they're actually doing stuff and living their lives, they're disconnected. And I think that's so beautiful, and I want to try it. I think ever since TikTok came into my life, that's when the scrolling got really bad because, you know, the algorithm, everyone says this, but it's just tailored to make you stay on the app. It is tailored to make you lose your life so that they can play more ads. We have to be a bit smarter than that. I think we can trust ourselves to use our brains and realize we don't have to just give in to the algorithm. And it's so hard because you just want to laugh. That dopamine is firing. You're like, oh my gosh, so funny or so interesting. Short form content and the For You page has actually done so much harm. And also, don't even get me started on generative AI because I'm literally that girl. Like I literally was a ChatGPT lover. If I think about it, why was my brain so much more alive in high school when ChatGPT wasn't a thing and I was actually doing everything myself? I felt like I was on fire. I was learning, I was interested, and then in college, I would just be a zombie looking to ChatGPT to give me 50% of what I needed. And then I would like make my own edits, but I wasn't even living my life to the fullest because I was relying on technology to do things that I should have been doing. You know, the whole thing of I wish ChatGPT could do my laundry so I could do art instead of it doing my art so I could do laundry. Why are we giving tasks that are made beautiful because of the human effort to a robot? It's just making copy-paste solutions for everything. When people in creative spaces rely too much on generative AI, I actually get mad, especially the ethical repercussions. I do still use it for things that don't matter as much, like brainstorming YouTube outlines or making titles. Things that aren't actually the work that you see, it's just logistics. Things like that, I'm like, okay, whatever. But when people are like writing their scripts with it or like, anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms. Like that's not even screen time anymore. It's just like technology. Our screen times and the way that we use technology has made us so lazy. And that's why we go to ChatGPT, because we're so used to this short form instant hit of dopamine. We want everything to be this quick. We can't wait anymore. And I think being able to unplug and be bored allows us to wait. And it's such a gift to be able to slow down. I think that in these past couple of weeks when I did my little experiment of putting my phone down a bit more, I have become so much happier. I've begun to be able to dedicate more time to doing things I love. Last week I read 4 books and it was one of the best weeks ever just because I was so happy with my books. I was able to make a bunch of videos, which is a really fun hobby that I love. I've been more intentional about conversations with people, really just like living in the moment instead of, you know, going on my phone when someone's right there. it's just been great, and my mental health has been really good. I felt more clear-headed and more intentional about using my time and not procrastinating, because every time I go on TikTok, I'd be like, wait, no. And actually, here's how I've been able to do it. I got this app called ScreenZen, which, like, I'll show you. So if you want to go on an app that you do not ideal, go to TikTok, and it makes you like think about it. And it's like, do you really want to open TikTok? And then if you do want to open it, you have to wait for 20 seconds. And usually in those 20 seconds, I realize I'd rather not open TikTok, and I don't care. If I really need that empty-headed moment, I'll like open TikTok, and then after 30 minutes, it'll tell me, hey, you're done. And I'll be like, okay, I'll be done. That's been really good and helpful. Actually, the number one most helpful thing, because why do we reach for these apps like it's muscle memory? It's literally part of our routines at this point. But if you just snap out of it, you realize you actually could do other things. And so that's my next tip, is like doing other things. I just mentioned reading, making videos, journaling, whatever. Anything you actually want to do with your time that your screen time steals from you, just do that instead. And even if it's harder, even if it takes more effort, it's more rewarding at the end of the day, and you actually feel so much happier. And when you go to sleep, you're like, I used my day so well, like I did so many fun things. Disclaimer, I'm currently unemployed, so that's why I have so much things to do. But even, especially if you go to school or work, you have so little free time. Why would you use your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5 to just scroll? We just think that we're so tired, all we have the energy for is scrolling, but that's not even true. Okay, maybe you won't have the energy to like run a marathon after work, but you probably would have the energy to do a hobby that you enjoy. Even if it requires some movement, even if it requires some thought, it's a different kind of thought than the kind you use at your job or at school. It's like the relaxation kind of thought, and it's the fun kind, the leisurely kind, and it's just so much more life-giving than turning your brain off and passively consuming every waking moment of your free time. I'm literally such a hypocrite, because I still love scrolling. I still love all of this, but it's just, I'm recognizing that this is not how I want to spend my time, and I'm making an effort to actually make that happen. I've been thinking to myself, I want to stop my screen time for years, and I just haven't done it because I'm like, yeah, whatever. But then I realized it's not whatever, it's actually my life, and I'm in my 20s, and I want to live my 20s and not just sit there watching other people's 20s. Do you not get bored? Do you not get that icky? It's like a post-nut clarity, but for TikTok. And I love TikTok. I think it gives so many great opportunities, and I really respect TikTok creators. But that doesn't mean I want to scroll on TikTok for more than an hour a day. We're so addicted to our phones also because of FOMO. Like, if we are not checking what's going on, we're missing out. And to some extent, I do love seeing what people I know are doing on their stories. I know a lot of people will say that's so unimportant. I find interest in it. It's like I'll scroll for 10 minutes and then that's it. And also the FOMO of there's so many more videos to see. Well, guess what? There's the FOMO of your actual real life. There's the FOMO of getting better at your hobbies, the FOMO of not knowing what your in-person friends are doing over dinner, the FOMO of all the books and movies and music you could be taking in and enjoying and admiring. Me a year ago would not be caught dead making this video, because I love currently being online. It's just now I'm recognizing how detrimental it is to my time more than anything. My mental health, yes, a little bit, but also how I interact with the world. I never ever want to be that girl who is at a restaurant on her phone ever again. Like, I just think that's so sad. Yeah, so basically this is still a journey, and I'm still try my best to cut it down. I still do spend time on my phone, but it's just much less than it used to be. That being said, I do still watch YouTube and stuff. I do still use technology, especially because I love making videos, so I have to like edit them. But I'll do that on my laptop instead, or my iPad, instead of on my phone, where I can get way more sucked in, always chasing the next high of a new piece of content that'll make you laugh. It's just so fleeting compared to the lasting happiness of real life activities or things that do require a screen, but it's just like you creating stuff or you doing things instead of just like watching things. So yeah, to summarize, I basically cut down my screen time with a screen blocker app that actually I'm disciplined with. I think lots of people try these apps and then they give up because they're not disciplined enough with it, but you actually have to take it seriously. Having a little mindset switch of being like, why do I actually want to cut down my screen time? Am I recognizing that there is a problem with it, and am I motivated to actually change it? And lastly, knowing what to do instead, okay? Because a lot of us feel like we don't have any hobbies, or we just don't do anything because there's nothing else to do, and scrolling is just the most fun thing that we can do with our time. Not true, okay? So finding things to do to replace your screen time is really important. I hope this video inspires you to be a bit more intentional with how you use your time and how you use your phone, because I love it. I don't think I'm ever going to switch to a flip phone because what a waste of like a great piece of technology, but just being more mindful about how we use it and how we want to still be present in the world. That'll make everything else so much more exciting, because instead of constantly firing up your dopamine, you're letting yourself have periods of rest and stillness. And then that just creates a more colorful life. And I think we all want to have a little bit of color in our lives, because that's what life is for. Like, we're supposed to have fun and live. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hopefully you enjoy the next one. And good luck on living your life a little bit better. Bye!
Ask about my day. I'm tired, but you